Good evening. It's Saturday, January 6, 2018. Happy New Year, everybody. And this is for you, Randy Hahn. It's a Saturday night off ice. Thank you for joining us, folks, because I know we got football. It's a Saturday night. There's lots of stuff you could be doing, but you're here with us, Teal Tinted Glasses, and we've got a treat for you this evening. Not because I'm back off a really long hiatus. I am Kevin Lacey, though. And with me this evening is Ian Reed, of course, the Canadian robot you all know and love. How are you, Ian?
Fantastic. We won.
And we have a very special guest tonight because we just wrapped up the World Junior Championships, again, the 2018 edition. Canada wins again, and we have a Canadian junior hockey player, and I'm not joking. We legitimately have a Canadian junior hockey player on our show this evening from the Virden Oil Capitals of the MJHL. Please welcome Kirklan Lycar. Kirklan, how are you, buddy?
Hey, guys. Doing good. Thanks for having me.
Oh, absolutely.
Thanks for joining us in between games, because I know you got a game tomorrow, and we'll get into that in a bit. But Ian, start us off, man.
I mean, where to start? Let's start. I guess one place I want to start. Obviously, we're gonna talk some World Juniors. So I mean, that's kind of where I'd like to start. What about I want to start with the outdoor game, though, because I know, and people are gonna be like, oh, well, Ian, Canada lost, so of course you don't like the outdoor game at the World Juniors. But I feel like in a short tournament, like, that's really dumb.
Having an outdoor game is dumb? Or...
Yeah. You have an outdoor, like, because think about this. Like, I know Canada lost that game, and I don't care about the outcome so much as I just care about like the quality of the game. And when you have a short round robin tournament, like, that game really matters. Like, if on the flip side, if the US had lost that game after losing to Slovakia, they're in serious trouble at that point. And the weather was kind of garbage. Like, it wasn't a great. I don't think it's great theater, to be completely honest. Like, I don't really get all excited about outdoor games at all, but I think in a short tournament like this, it's really detrimental for a few extra bucks. I don't know. What are your thoughts, guys?
Kirklan, I'll throw out for.
Yeah, well, I watched the game, and well, actually, I guess first off, my buddy Brett Howden, who I played midget with him, so I got to talk to him about the outdoor game a little bit, and he thought it was the coolest thing. So for a guy who actually played in it, he didn't have anything bad to say about it. But from and I guess from a fan point of view, it's kind of cool too to watch. But I could just I get Ian's point in saying that in a short tournament like that, it's I don't know. I didn't really understand it, and it just seems like IIHF is really they're trying to sell the tournament to the point that it's almost unappealing to fans. And you kind of seen that with the attendance. Obviously, the attendance was really poor, and I don't know. For me, I didn't really like the game that much from like watching it. But talking to Brett, he said it was pretty cool. So, and he actually played in the game, but.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, I'm sure that for like people that are there, like, and that's the thing I've always kind of thought about outdoor games is like you're there, right? I mean, if you're there, I think it's probably a really cool experience. You know, the Sharks had their outdoor game at Levi Stadium, and from all accounts, anyone that's been there has always had positive things to say about it. To me, I just think like from like in the NHL, like the Winter Classic, it's one game in an 82 game season. I just feel like in a round robin to have and the weather was pretty bad. And it kind of, I don't know. I mean, I'm sure being there, it was probably cool, but I just think from an outside perspective, I don't know. I feel like you're putting a lot on the line.
Yeah.
In a one game.
I do. I agree. I mean, they can't do much about the weather, obviously, because this is planned in advance, and who knows? I mean, I'm going to Florida in August, and I'm sure I'm going to get blown away by a hurricane, but I have no idea. I'm going anyway. So they don't know about the snow, but at the same time, it's like both of you are saying, is this really beneficial for the WJC? Like, are they really gaining anything extra out of having this game be outdoors? Because again, you mentioned it, Kirkland, the attendance was poor. I don't think it really brought any more publicity than a normal Canada USA indoor game would have.
No. Well, and being a Canadian, like, obviously you guys probably view the WJC and some of the big games that Canada US have. You probably have a different, I guess, favorite games than I have, because a lot of my favorite Canada US games are obviously Canadian wins. But for me, it's always a tradition with my buddies to watch the Canada USA on New Year's, and the outdoor game wasn't even on New Year's. And I don't know, for me,
that's a good point.
Canada USA, I think of the big game, and I think that was 2009, the year Eberle scored to tie against Russia, and there've been all the classic games have been on New Year's, so even having that outdoor game on, like, I guess it was the 30th, was a little bit weird for me.
Yeah, I never really considered that. I mean, I'm the only American on this panel, so I guess for me, the WJC, especially being out in California, it's not as big of a deal for me. But I do enjoy watching the games, and yeah, I never really looked at it like that would be kind of like a holiday tradition kind of thing. So I guess in that respect, the outdoor game, I guess that makes sense. I don't know. Like you said, Ian, I'm not really that big about outdoor games unless I'm there. I loved the one at Levi Stadium the Sharks and Kings had, and it had nothing to do with the hockey game. The hockey game was trash, but being there, watching it was awesome. So,
yeah, I don't know. I mean, I just think it's like you're leaving too much up when it's such a, like, in a round robin tournament where every game matters. That it just makes it. I just think it's hard when, you know, like, I mean, because you can't control the weather, like you said, and I know some people, like, that's what they want to see, right? The outdoor game, they want to see snow everywhere and silliness, because we're taking it back to the hockey's roots. Remember, and you know, when they played outdoors in the first games of the NHL. No, they didn't.
I think sort of the outdoor game too is sort of worn off now at this point too. They've had so many. The NHL has at least 3 or 4 a year, right? So it's
right.
I think for the fans, it's sort of like, for me, I don't tune in to watch them anymore. It's not that cool anymore.
Yeah, you get jaded. Actually, I'm glad you brought that up, because we should, even though we're gonna talk more about juniors, we should at least mention the Winter Classic. My only take,
I didn't watch it.
See, there you go. The only thing that I took from that is, wow, the players look so miserable out there in the minus 90-degree temperatures that it was. Although they all, like what you said, Kirkland, about Brett Howden, your friend Brett Howden, about he loved being there. All the players still said, as bad as it felt to be out there, it was still so much fun.
Yep. Well, Henrik Lundqvist said he would do one every year, so I guess he's heading to the Blackhawks.
He wins them all. And he does do one every year. The Rangers and the Blackhawks are always...
Isn't Lundqvist like 4-0 or something like that?
Something silly like in the outdoor games, yeah.
Yeah, I believe so. But let's go on to the gold medal game. Sweden versus Canada. That was just last evening. Now, I missed the game, but I did catch the third period on replay, and you know, that was just another. I thought it was just a great, excellent showing of two powerhouses. But I mean, it was great to see. Great hockey game.
Classic game. I mean, it was pretty close until the third period. I think it was tied going to the third period, if I remember correctly. All my days kind of just blur together now. You know, I enjoyed it. I mean, I had both screens on. I had one on the Sharks game and one on the Team Canada game, and I had the volume on the Sharks game to start, and I just was kind of glancing back and forth, and then I'm like, Sharks are up 5-3. That's enough of this volume over here. I'm gonna turn the volume on the Team Canada game, and then I look back, and that happened. I have no regrets.
Yeah, that Sharks. I missed all hockey, everything hockey yesterday. I missed. So when I got home and I saw the Sharks blew a 3-goal third period lead, I said, okay.
From a few of those deficits this year, haven't they?
Actually, against Carolina, back-to-back games against Carolina and Minnesota, they did. So I mean, we can't gripe too much about that. But Yeah. Wow. What was Steenbergen scored with like a minute 30 left in
Something silly. That
regulation?
was amazing.
Wow. It's his first goal of the tournament.
Wow.
And now now Tyler Radish is coming home.
Oh yeah, I was gonna mention that a little bit.
Yep.
Yeah, but what's up?
Said Boris is bringing his buddy home. I'm excited.
Yeah. Kirklan, I might as well ask you. I'll jump in ahead to questions about your career here. What's the biggest goal that you've ever scored in your career?
I have to go. I probably flash back to midget AAA. So I was playing. I was on a line with Howden actually, and
that's awesome.
We were in. It was game 5, so there's best of 5 series against Brandon, who they had a powerhouse team. They had a whole bunch. They have a whole bunch of guys that play on the actual Brandon Wheat Kings now in the Western League, and a few guys that have like signed NHL contracts. Tanner Kaspa, Ty Lewis. So that we really only had Brett, like the only real like high end guy. Mm-hmm. And it was 3-3 late in the third. There's probably 2 or 3 minutes left, and he fed me from behind the net actually, and I had a wide open net and tapped it in. That was probably the biggest goal I've ever scored. I haven't played in my junior career. I haven't played in a lot of big games just because I've been on a couple poor teams, but
that's all right. There's no language barrier here.
No language barrier. Yeah, I've played on some pretty bad teams, but yeah, definitely that goal in midget. That one stands out for me. That was probably the biggest goal I've ever scored. So it wasn't even in junior, but
that's still awesome though. Now, my question then is, did you celebrate how Steenbergen did?
I celebrated pretty. I remember jumping into the glass actually. I was actually, me and my buddies we were looking back on that the other day and just like looking at Brandon's roster. Like I think there's some crazy like 4 or 5 guys that ended up getting drafted in the NHL, and so that was pretty cool to see. Wow. And then Zach Whitecloud played on that team too. He plays at Bemidji right now.
Bemidji, the NCAA college.
Yeah.
Cool.
So quite a few high-end guys there.
Nice. So, well, first off, because I just remembered, I might as well show my Canadian support. Way to go, Canada. You got the gold medal. So there you go.
One of us.
Yeah. Well, I mean, last year I was rocking that Finland jersey, and that,
Ooh, that's rough.
Yeah. So at least
the Finns. Like I was really again underwhelmed by the Finns this tournament. Like I thought this was the year that they were gonna be like the threat.
Oh man, I don't know what's going on. They need to be a little concerned here. I don't know if it's it sounds to me like it's an internal thing because they have the talent.
They absolutely do.
They're gonna need some, I don't know, new coaching, a new direction. I don't know, but there's that team, that nationality, I guess you'd say, they're way too good for the results they've been getting through the World Cup and the Olympic. Well, the Olympics are upcoming, but I'm pretty sure we know how that's going to go for Finland. But just all the various tournaments, Finland's just been really poor ever since winning the gold medal in the juniors a couple years ago. But Sweden, hard luck loss for them, but the elephant in the room, Elias Andersson throws his silver medal into the crowd. And if you haven't seen that, folks, check the video on Twitter. I believe Robert Soderlund, who always has amazing videos, he has the video of the guy who caught the silver medal in the crowd, taking 2 American jerseys off, revealing a Sweden sweater underneath, and puts the jersey on, and all the Canadian fans around him are just dying laughing.
I loved it.
Ian, what is it just a case of emotions got the better of Elias Andersson here? Like,
yeah, I think I mean, look at this is what we all say. Like, all of us say, you want that guy on your team that just hates to lose, and then this kid who's a kid, let's remember, in the heat of the moment, throws his silver medal away because he doesn't want the loser trophy, and we're supposed to be upset about this. I'm not upset. You know what? It's his silver medal. If he wants to throw it away, that's his prerogative. Now, if this was more of an older, more seasoned veteran player, then maybe I'd be like, okay, maybe, grow up a little bit. But this is a kid. I think I all the power to him. Well, I mean, maybe he'll regret it down the road, but he says he has a silver medal from the under 18s that he hasn't looked at in 2 years. So
it's my knowledge that he did end up getting the medal back. Like after the guy posed with the medal and took his photos and whatnot, he did actually give it back. From what I heard.
Try to give it? I heard he tried to give it back. I don't know if he actually took it back or not. I don't know. It just. I know that the officials there, when they gave them this, like the silver trophy for the whole team, they're like, okay, not the trophy. They kind of got it away from him pretty quick.
Quickly in the chat, it was A012345 who says, after I put the Canada hat on, he says, I'm going to take my Barracuda sweatshirt off and reveal I'm wearing a Canada sweater underneath. All of that guy. Kirklan, what'd you think of Elias Anderson throwing that medal in there? Is it just a bunch of hullabaloo, or?
Yeah, it's pretty. I think he's kind of taken a little too much heat for it. I've seen a bunch of stuff on Twitter, like obviously heat of the moment, and especially with Sweden, they've kind of come up short in the medal round a little bit the past few years. Like they've won something crazy, like 40-some group stage games in a row,
round robin games in a row.
So I can definitely see the frustration, but I think it's kind of being blown out of proportion. The funniest thing for me was that guy that he threw the medal to had a Sweden jersey on.
Yeah.
Underneath 2 American jerseys. I thought that was pretty funny.
That's amazing.
Yeah. That was great. And I gotta throw it back to the chat real quick. A012345 again said Joe Thornton should have thrown his beard into the crowd after the Sharks lost the cup to the Penguins.
Oh my god.
I don't even know where to go with that, but that's hilarious. So
we should, before we go back in the world, we should talk about that for a second though, because it is kind of noteworthy. What did you think about that whole thing, Kevin, where Joe Thornton loses a piece of his beard in a fight? Like, to me, like, if you're gonna go and you're gonna grab a guy to fight, we see guys grab the sweater all the time and kind of take little rabbit punches holding the sweater, right?
Yeah.
Well, with Joe Thornton, this is all beard. Like, what else is poor Nazem Kadri, who's has no business fighting Joe Thornton to begin with? Like, what is this guy supposed to do?
I was more upset that Nazem Kadri instigated the fight with Thornton and then ran away. Like, that was what I was upset about.
Well, if
he
you
slashed Thornton
giant,
twice.
You run.
What's up?
If you wake the sleeping giant, you run.
Yeah. Kadri drops his gloves first. Thornton's like, really? What the heck? Okay. And he throws his gloves down next. And then Kadri backpedals the whole while Thornton's going right at him. So I don't think the beard pulling was anything. I think that's just Kadri going, I got to grab onto something.
Please don't kill me. Kadri's got to give up some serious weight to Joe Thornton.
Oh, absolutely. So that was just Kirklan. Are you old enough to grow a beard like that, bud?
Not like Joe's, no.
It's all right. I'm like 34 and I can't grow a beard like that, like Kadri's even. So
no, I think my teammates were doing mullets for playoffs this year. So
nice.
Wow. Okay.
I approve.
That's awesome. So one of the questions in the chat, I think Morocco was the one who asked.
Mm-hmm.
It was Rob. Rob asked, is this what we're going to expect here in the Olympics next month? Is it Canada's trophy to lose or medal to lose still?
I don't think so. I think it's wide open.
What about you, Kirklan? Hey, why don't they put you on Team Canada for the Olympics since the pros can't play?
Yeah, no, that'd be nice. That'd be fun. But no, I think there's probably quite a few good guys playing college right now, and probably some CHL guys. But in terms of whose tournament it is, it's definitely, I'd say it's wide open for sure. I'm really excited because, like, I don't know, I think it's literally going to be a wild card tournament. Anything could happen. Obviously it's not best on best like everyone loves about the Olympics, but I think it's going to be a lot of fun to watch. There's going to be a lot of guys that not a lot of people have heard of before, and I think it's just going to be a fun hockey. So.
Yeah, I agree. I mentioned this on Teal Tinted USA last week that the best games of the Olympic tournament every 4 years tend to be the qualifying games, or at least when they had qualifying games that were part of the tourney. Those qualifying games with like Latvia and Germany and Slovakia and Slovenia and stuff, those were the best games to watch. They weren't the best players, but the pride and the intensity of those games like won out, and they're so fascinating to watch. And the best players aren't going to be in this tournament, but I think that's going to make it better. Not necessarily better quality hockey, but better. I don't know, just the versusness, because I can't think. I'm
there's a lot of pride for some of these guys. Like some of these guys, this is an opportunity they normally wouldn't get. You know, like saw the video of the AHL. I can't remember the player's name when he found out he was on Team USA with his dad. I mean, you know, that's a special moment, and I think that, you know, when you kind of get those opportunities, I mean, I think you do want to go shot. I think you're John McCarthy, you're you know, you're a career AHLer. Like you get to go in on the world stage now, you know, and try and help Team USA get a medal. And I think, you know, what's greater than that?
I mean, for most of these guys, they probably never have represented their country, right? Like probably didn't even play World Juniors or anything like that for most of them. So
right, exactly. So I think it's going to be a lot of great stories. A lot of, you know, look at the XFL for a moment here. The XFL was a complete failure. But there were a couple players, including Tommy Maddox, the quarterback, who ended up becoming an NFL starting quarterback out of that because he got the exposure, he got the opportunity. So you never know who in this tournament might all of a sudden land an NHL contract and make a contribution to the big league down the line. So, yeah, I'm with you guys on that. Let's see here. I know there was another chat question here. Meanwhile, Kirklan, you mentioned you're friends with Brett Howden. Have you spoken with him since he won the gold medal?
Yeah, I sent him a quick text yesterday, and he got back to me. But it seemed like he was pretty busy having some fun with his family and his teammates. So, but he's definitely excited, especially his older brother Quentin played for Canada 2 years in a row, and Quentin's in the KHL right now. But Quentin lost both years. He won a silver and a bronze, I believe. And the one year was the year that Canada was up 3-0 on the Russians going in the third, and that was the year Kuznetsov and Panarin, Tarasenko played, and I think they scored like 5 goals in the third period to beat Canada. So I know for Brett and his family, I'm definitely pretty excited to win last night.
That's awesome, man. And you, I know you've mentioned him because I've known Kirklan for about a year or so. Yeah. Kirklan, I think you mentioned I don't know if you're friends with, but you've played against Barracuda forward John Martin. Is that right?
I play against his brother. His brother plays in my league. So, yeah, I know John.
That's cool, man. I was kind of hoping he scored because there is an update on the Barracuda game. The Barracuda have tied it going into second intermission. Adam Haluka scored unassisted with 5 minutes left. So that one's 1-1. I'm still waiting for John Martin to score just for you.
There you go.
But let's talk about your the Manitoba Junior Hockey League here. That's where you play. Just what's life like on the road? Like, let me ask this. Do you live with a host family, a billet family? Like, how does that work?
Yeah. So we have the team sets you up with a billet family. And I don't know, I've had nothing but good experiences I've played on 3 junior teams, and I've had really good billet families. So they cook for you, and I don't know, they just really take you in and make you feel at home as much as possible. And my billets here in Virden give us a lot of freedom. So, I mean, this is my last year junior. I'm 20, so they just treat me like an adult. And I mean, she still does my laundry for me and cooks for me, but I get away with quite a bit too. So, but no, it's I don't know, it's a great experience too. You kind of become a part of their family, and they become a part of your life. So it's nice. Just sort of having that, I guess, family aspect of it too while you're living away from home.
Now, how far, because you play for Virden, and where are you from originally in Manitoba?
So I'm from Elma, Manitoba. It's a tiny little town just east of Winnipeg.
Okay.
So from there to Virden, it's about a 4-hour drive for me, 3.5, 4 hours.
Okay. Okay. So do you get to see them often while you're playing, or?
Yeah, well, being my last year junior, my parents are trying to come out as much as possible to watch me. So they've been out quite a bit more. And then, for instance, last night we played in Steinbach, which that's close to home for me. It's only about a 45-minute drive. So my family came out to that one, and that's nice because like everywhere in the Manitoba Junior League is pretty close proximity. There's a few long drives, but everything is within like 3-4 hours. So
Is everything's by bus then, or?
Yeah, but everything is bus.
Gotcha. Yeah, how cold are some of those bus rides though? Because when I was looking up where you're playing tomorrow, I saw it's like -9 Celsius right now or something.
Yeah, no, they can get pretty cold. I actually I've learned over, so it's my 4th year junior. I've learned that I bring my undergear with me on the bus. I don't put it under the bus with my equipment because nothing's worse than getting to the rink and having to get naked and then throw on your freezing undergear. So I bring it with me on the bus.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, what's it are you okay with the travel? Because I imagine you travel quite a bit, and like especially as when you were a teenager, like was it weird to be traveling all over the place to play hockey, or was it kind of exciting?
It was exciting. I started my junior career. I played 2 games with the Brandon Wheat Kings in the Western League. So, like with Brandon, they have a lot of travel. So, when I started playing in the Manitoba Junior Hockey League, when I got cut from Brandon, I was like, this will be a piece of cake, all the driving, which I don't know. It's not that bad. Like sometimes the bus, it sucks getting home at 2-3 in the morning sometimes, but we always have a lot of fun on the bus, especially after a win. So it makes the trips go by pretty quick. So
yeah. I'm glad you mentioned Brandon actually, because you did play. You were drafted in the Bantam draft by Brandon. Am I right?
Yeah.
So you mentioned your greatest goal was against the Brandon midget team. So was it kind of weird being drafted by Brandon, or like I beat you guys? Oh yay, Brandon! Hey.
Yeah, no, I remember because a lot of the guys on that team were also drafted to Brandon. So, and I remember that whole series, like Kelly McCrimmon was coming watching all the games, and so he was the GM of Brandon, now assistant GM of Vegas. But yeah. I just remember wanting to play my best, obviously, with him there watching, and it was pretty fun, or felt pretty good to score that winning goal. So especially against all those guys and in front of sort of those like the Wheat Kings brass.
Yeah. I know you only played a couple of. Sorry, Ian. Did you want to ask on that?
Oh, I was just. you just mentioned it's your last season of junior hockey. So what's next?
Hoping to play. So since I played since I played major junior, I can't play Division I NCAA. Right. So I'm hoping to play Canadian University next year, CIS.
Mm-hmm.
So there's quite a few guys that play major junior that end up going there, and guys end up playing pro after that. So they'll go there for 4 years, get school, and then end up playing pro. Or some guys will go play pro for a couple of years and not like it or can't cut it or whatever, and then go down to play CIS. So it's a pretty good brand of hockey. So that's where I'm hoping to play next year.
That's awesome. I wish you all the best.
Yeah, that's really building. It seems like that's getting a lot of steam the last few years, because I've been keeping an eye on that. Okay, folks, nerd talk for a minute. Kirklan and I play in the same simulation hockey league, and that's how I know him. So I'm constantly on the transaction wire looking over the CIS and the most obscure leagues you can possibly find to make sure that the players are all active, so to speak. And nerd talk for a sec there.
Okay.
But it seems like that's a league where you're starting to see players graduate from college, but they continue on with their careers. So, I mean, is that something that you think might be in your cards down the line, or is it one of those you want to get your degree and
yeah, I definitely think school's first for me right now, but if I can play hockey as long as possible, that'd be awesome. And if I wind up getting a chance to play pro, whether that be maybe in the East Coast League or overseas, whatever it might be, I'll definitely I guess at that point evaluate what my options are. But yeah, I think for me right now is just trying to play hockey as long as I can.
That's fantastic. All right, I have 2 more questions, and then I'll let if Ian has any more questions. One is, do you have an agent?
Yeah, I have an advisor, Ben Robinson. He's Blue Line Hockey. He's from Colorado.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been with Ben probably since I was, I guess, probably around the time I was no longer with Brandon.
Mm-hmm.
I had a different agent at the time when I was trying to play Major Junior, and I guess basically when that didn't work out, we just sort of parted ways. And so I've been with Ben, and he's been good helping me sort of like guide me towards CIS and just sort of make sure all my options are available to me.
Yeah. Actually, I just thought of one other question here. But first, talk to your agent. I love EliteHotProspects.com, but I have been pushing for them to get your name spelled correctly on that site. So tell Ben, what a worded, get my client's name spelled correctly.
Well, like, funny story about that. That all happened when I was in Bantam. My coach, so that was, I guess, my Bantam draft year. So my coach, for whatever reason, wrote my name on the roster down as Kirkland with a D at the end. So all the Western League teams that were scouting me and stuff had me as Kirkland with a D at the end. And I don't know, I guess it's on Hockey DB, I'm Kirkland, but on Hockey or on Elite, I'm Kirkland. So
jeez. Yeah, I keep pushing for it, but who am I? So tell Ben to get on that.
I will.
But actually, the question that came up in my head real quick was, what you mentioned you were on 3 different, or you were on 3 different teams, and that all transpired last season where you were on 3 different teams.
Yeah.
What was the feeling like being traded? Because I mean, I would think that'd be a weird experience.
Yeah. So I was in Dauphin, a different team in the Manitoba Junior Hockey League, and I'd been there for 2.5 years, and it was just time for a change for me. We'd spun our tires a lot. We hadn't really improved at all. Each year we kept getting younger and younger, and I was getting older, and I just thought that my window to have fun and win was kind of closing. So I had requested to go to three different teams, and the Portage Terriers were one of them, and they had won the national championship, the RBC Cup, a couple years before that. So I was pretty stoked to end up in Portage. And then just like series of events, I was injured for a bit, and I'd only played 5 games there, but then I don't know, I guess Virden was in the market for a scoring winger, I guess, so they picked me up, and I've been fortunate enough because I absolutely love it here. So
that's awesome, man. Now, you mentioned injury. This was my last question. You lost your front teeth like a month ago. What the heck happened?
Yeah, it was towards the end of the game, so it was just stupid. It was pretty avoidable. It was my last shift of the game. I had the puck in my own zone, and we were on a line change. They were on a line change, so I was like, I wasn't going to chip the puck out of my zone. I should have, but I circled back in my own zone with the puck, trying to make something happen, and I circled all the way back behind my net, and I don't know what I was waiting for, who I was waiting to get open, but all of a sudden the guy kind of came from, kind of blindsided me and just cross-checked / elbowed me in the face. Like the stick hit me first, and then his elbow kind of rode through and just broke the tooth right off. So
yeah,
you're gonna get a cage, kids.
Yeah,
cages are for sissies. I wear a cage.
Oh man!
Yeah, everyone I talk to always says they lose their teeth last year junior. So
man.
Well, look at Solani. Timo Solani played for like 90 years, and in year 90 is when he lost his teeth.
Yeah,
it's true.
But if you can eventually grow a beard, are you gonna do the Brent Burns?
I don't know. I think I kind of have a little bit of a dowdy look, maybe.
Oh no! Don't say that on our show.
Yeah. Let's see. I don't think I could grow it as long as Burns, but yeah. Okay, we'll go with the Burns look.
All right. I do have a question actually from the chat from A012345. He said, if you had the choice of being on a pro team, what team would be your first choice? And would it be a domestic team or a European team?
I've seen my cousin, I have a cousin, Brandon Walker. He played in the East Coast League in Gwinnett.
I know that name.
Yeah, he played with the Wheat Kings and then the Saskatoon Blades for a bit, and then he played in the East Coast League for 2 seasons. So he played in Gwinnett, and he said he loved it. So I think it'd be kind of cool to play somewhere down in the States hot, because I mean winters up here are crazy. But
Yes.
I think playing too, like if I could choose somewhere overseas, like I heard Switzerland is absolutely beautiful. So
I love it.
Yeah, but
he's probably heard that from me, folks. I love Switzerland. That's awesome. Well, thanks for the little Q&A.
Actually, I got one more question.
Yeah, Ian, go for it.
Kirklan, maybe it's a weird question. I mean, like when you were coming up, was like major junior like always your goal, or do you have any regrets about having your Division 1 eligibility kind of lost after just a couple of games?
No, that's awesome. That's a good question. When I was in Canada, they don't really educate you enough about Division 1, especially because I think it's a rule that Division 1 teams can't talk to Canadian high schoolers till they're like in grade 11.
Oh, okay.
So when you're coming up, like you're 13 and 14, and you have Western League teams that are like talking to you and interviewing you and saying we're going to draft you and stuff, you almost forget that NCAA is even an option. And I definitely wish, looking back on it now, like if I have kids that play hockey, they'll definitely keep their options more open than I did, just because I really had no clue. The major junior sort is just the more appealing.
Sure. I mean, I live in the Sioux, so I mean, like,
right.
We have the Greyhounds here, and I mean, I think growing up, like, I mean, I'm terrible, but like being on the Greyhounds, like when I'm 5 or 6 or 7 or whatever, I mean, that's your dream, right? Like, I'm gonna play in my hometown, and it's gonna be awesome. And so I mean, I can definitely see like the appeal of major junior hockey. I was just curious about how the NCAA kind of plays into the thought process of an actual person who's good enough to play.
Yeah, no, I definitely, looking back on it, I wish I would have been smarter about that. But the MJHL now is doing, like the league I play in is doing a great job of sort of getting exposure for a lot of those guys, and you're seeing a lot more guys from my league now that are committing Division 1 than when I was 13, 14. So I really never thought of the MJHL as like an option for my career.
Right.
So, but looking back on it now,
I mean, do you have you probably have like quite a few players, like, you have players like that are in the league that are purposely there in order to keep their NCAA options open?
Yeah. There's quite a few guys that, well, actually, there's a player on my team, Justin Lee, 17. He's going to commit any day now, but he could have played in the USHL this year. But chose to play in our league just a little bit closer to home. But yeah, there's definitely guys that choose our league as sort of like a stepping stone to NCAA. So
makes sense.
Explain that to me, actually. What do you mean by like lose eligibility? Like,
because major junior is considered pro.
Yeah.
What's that?
The NCAA considers major junior to be pro. So
really?
Yeah.
Yes.
So once you sign I guess that's a Western Hockey League standard player agreement, you lose your eligibility. So
yeah. Same for the O, same for the Q.
Yeah, but at the same time, I do have a free year of university from Brandon. So
hey, can't argue with that.
Yeah.
Well, that's really neat. Ian, you mentioned the Sioux.
Yep.
Today we have a trade to announce. Now, I don't know all the details of the trade, but I do know that Taylor Radish, Canadian gold medalist Taylor Radish, and Jordan Sambrook are now Greyhounds.
Yeah,
and I can tell the excitement on your face. Let's talk about that, Ian.
I'm super jacked because the Hounds have been on quite a run this year, and I just think Radish, you throw him. I mean, Boris Kachuk was also on his line for Team Canada, and I love Boris. And then you have Connor Timmins coming back too. I mean, it's gonna be a good team. This team, even missing those guys. Like this team went on like a 23 game winning streak that was just snapped, unfortunately, by the Mississauga. Was it Mississauga? I believe it was Mississauga. Snapped the winning streak, and I'm sad about that. But I'm really excited. I mean, I've had the I've been able to take in a lot of Greyhound games this year, so I'm really excited to see Radish not kill us for once.
And Kirkland, do you follow many of the other junior leagues while you're playing?
I try to keep up on the stats and stuff. I like to research prospects and stuff, so try to keep up on the stats. But I couldn't tell you who's doing good, like team wise, in many of the leagues. But I do follow the Western League quite a bit, just because Brandon's here, and Brandon's only a 45-minute drive from Virden, so sometimes you get out to watch Wheat Kings games and stuff. But
nice.
Skylar had a question.
We actually have another question here. Skylar Greenberg in the chat asked, this is piggybacking off what we were talking about earlier. Do you see any major changes to the junior hockey system to maybe, say, allow the NCAA eligibility?
I couldn't imagine anything drastic just because the NCAA they're definitely strict with their rules. But I think you'll see a lot more Canadian kids sort of opting for the junior A route and then trying to get an NCAA scholarship. You see it now, like for instance, Team Canada, Fabro, Makar, the backup goalie Point, all those guys played NCAA Division I, and it wasn't very long ago that Canada, like, they rarely even had one guy. It was all major junior guys. So I think if there were any change, it would just be that a lot more kids will be trying to go NCAA, and they'll sort of they'll pass up on going play major junior.
My connection is
too. Sorry, the other thing too is going to be interesting going forward too is there's a lawsuit against pretty much all the CHL leagues. Basically, players are asking to actually be paid properly instead of they basically get a stipend, and it's not very much.
Right. Well, like, I can kind of attest to that in a sense. Like, I definitely don't think. I mean, it's hard for. I don't know how junior teams could necessarily stay afloat, paying their players.
Right.
But like for me, some days like rank and by the time everything's done, I come home. It's almost a 6-7 hour day. So I mean, to some extent, we are working almost. But,
for sure.
There's nothing wrong with getting paid to do something you love.
No, exactly. I mean, I it's hard, right? Because like for me, and I honestly, I don't know the dollars and cents, right? Like I'm an OHL guy. So, could London afford to pay their players properly? Absolutely. They're London. They print money. Could a place like the Sioux afford to do that? I don't know. Like, I don't know if I lose my junior team if players need to start getting paid, because not only, you have to come up to the Sioux, which is in the nether regions of the OHL. Like everything from the Sioux's travel, it's like your closest teams are like Saginaw and Sudbury, and then everything else is, 5-6 hour drive. So, I mean, it's hard. I can't speak to it because I've never lived the life, right? I don't know enough to really say.
I don't think it changed for me. Like if I were getting paid or if I weren't getting paid, obviously, we all play junior hockey because we love to play junior hockey. So we love to play hockey. So I don't think getting paid would make a difference either way. But
yeah, I don't know.
But
can the junior league players unionize? I don't know.
I definitely think, though, that, like you mentioned, some of the smaller market teams, I don't know how they'd be able to stay afloat.
Right? Yeah, so. I think they'd fold up. I mean, like, we got a brand new arena here in the Sioux, but it still only seats, I think, 3,000-4,000 people. Like, it's not London where you can sit like a bajillion people, and that's why the Memorial Cup bounces between like 3 cities in Ontario, because they're the ones with like the big arenas that can actually host it at this point. So I don't know.
Hey, Kirkland, you're playing in the Winnipeg Jets practice facility tomorrow, aren't you?
Yes. Yeah.
Sweet. Have you played there before?
Yeah, I have. That's where Winnipeg's junior team, the Blues, they play out of there. So it's a pretty cool place. There's 4 rinks, and then we play in the big one where and then they also have the MJHL showcase there every year. So they get a bunch of college scouts and like probably some pro scouts too come, and it's all 11 teams from my league play 2 games, and it's just like it's all in that one central location. But yeah, it's a pretty cool complex. So it's new to Winnipeg. I think it's probably only like 6 years old or something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because that just seems like that'd be a really cool place, and I would think a lot of people would show up to see that. So
yeah, the showcase is good. Like quite a few people, but generally when we go into Winnipeg and play the Blues, they don't have a crazy amount of fans. I don't know. It's I guess it's kind of like it's probably tough for them to draw just because now Winnipeg has the AHL as well.
Right, that's true.
So.
In fact, that's right. The Manitoba Moose play there, right?
And the MTS Center.
No, they play out of the MTS Center. Where
they're like the Sharks. They're the only 2 teams where the
Okay. For some reason this offseason, I thought I saw that the Moose had moved to the Jets to the other facility. Oh, okay.
MTS Center.
Okay, gotcha. Well, Kirkland, if you're there tomorrow, I don't even know if the Moose are in town, but if you happen to see Buddy Robinson, tell him his best fans love him and miss him.
Former San Jose Barracuda.
That's right. And scored his 11th goal this season in my simulation game tonight.
Nice.
Yes. But speaking of the Barracuda, they just tied I was going to say they're down 2-1, but they just tied the game. So 2-2. I'm waiting on that John Martin goal.
All right. You know what? But going back to the World Juniors, I think we should probably touch on, because we had some Sharks prospects there, and I think we should probably wrap things up. I thought Joachim Blichfeld was great. He was by far and away the best player on the Danish team.
I feel like we've been saying that. The 3 years, 2 years we've been watching him on Denmark.
I don't know. Nico Hischier was there last year.
No. I'm not. No, wait, Nico Hischier is not on Denmark.
No, you're right. I'm sorry.
I'm like, wait, what? But yeah, I mean, he's a really smooth surprise player for a 7th round pick. I still worry about his size, but he's got the skill. He's got a great shot. What was that?
Especially after he got run that last game.
See, I missed that. So
yeah, stretchered off. But
Blichfeld got stretchered off?
Yes.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, but apparently he's fine. They said that he will return to Portland and he'll be good to go when he returns. They just need some rest. So nothing too alarming. Who else was there? Oh, there's this.
Well, some guy named Coronash for the Czechs who single-handedly got them to the bronze medal game.
Yeah, you know what? That's good. Dave Barrett Coronash before I just tear apart another player.
Oh no.
No, you know what? I liked what I saw. I mean, considering that again, the team that he's on, that they're going to be in for a tough road, and I was impressed with what I saw from him, considering you face 50 shots because you're not playing for one of the big countries.
Mm-hmm.
And I was impressed. Josh Norris, on the other hand, did not impress me at all.
Oh no.
You know what? Like, here's my thing. To me, it wasn't that he was bad. Like, I don't think Josh Norris had a bad tournament. He didn't stand out. And you're a 1st round pick in a World Junior, like, you should stand out. I understand he's a late 1st round pick, but he should still, like, you know what I mean?
Well, wasn't he on the 4th line for Team USA though?
Yeah, but he missed some grade A chances.
Dude, I mean, I caught no USA games at all the entire tournament, but someone else in the chat was mirroring your sentiments about Norris, saying he wasn't very good in the tournament. So I'll take you guys' word for it on that. Morocco says he was terrible.
I wasn't impressed. Like I don't want to say he was terrible, but I was less than impressed. I just like I look at him and I'm like, well, yay, we have a third line center.
You know, Jack Roslovic had 2 points last year for the tournament for the Americans.
That's true.
That is very true.
I never liked the pick, and I know that's just me, and I am trying not to just project that on him for the World Juniors because I was never a fan of the Josh Norris pick. I mean, when Killer Yamamoto's still on the board, what are you doing? But I don't know. I wasn't super impressed by him. He didn't really. I don't want to say he's terrible. He just didn't really stand out.
Kirkland, do you face much criticism in the MJHL? Like when you hear people talk about players like Josh Norris, he didn't have a very good tournament or whatever. Like, is that like a weird feeling, or being a player yourself, or
like it kind of, some guys get it worse than others. Definitely, like there's because right now our trade deadline is in a couple days.
Sure.
Okay.
So there's like an MJHL forum online, and it's all anonymous, so people are always shooting off saying a bunch of stuff, but sometimes you see it and it's kind of annoying, but I don't know, it's kind of funny too, like to read about some of the stuff. I mean, you know yourself, like what you're capable of, and when you read people bashing you behind a keyboard, it's kind of just funny more than anything.
Yeah.
But
My name's in the bottom corner here. I'm not hiding. No,
I was going to say, what is this forum called? Is it called Twitter?
Oh man, Twitter's mean.
Twitter's pretty mean. I commend you, Kirkland, for being on Twitter. Hey, where can people find you on Twitter? And don't bash him, people.
Yeah, we'll fight you.
At KirkL21. So.
KirkL21.
Perfect.
Awesome. Yeah. So give Kirkland a follow because he's a good guy. Definitely. I like Kirkland. In fact, he was one of the GMs of the year in my league, so wow. I know he's a good guy.
Thanks for joining us.
Hey,
it was really cool. Like, some of your insights were really cool, and I'm glad that we were able to share them.
Yeah. Thanks for coming on, and I definitely do they train you at your level for like PR and stuff like that? Because I thought you handled yourself very, very well.
No, they don't really. We don't really do any of that.
That's why you gave us real answers.
Yeah.
You know what I didn't hear once? I didn't hear once that we had to play our game. We had to get pucks in deep. Like, there was none of that today. And I can't tell you how much I appreciate that.
Definitely. Well, thanks for having me, guys.
Oh, it's great.
Thank you.
Do this again sometime.
Yeah. You're welcome to come on and just run random banter with us whenever you want. It doesn't necessarily be about juniors, but I mean, schedule permitting. And another, just as a total random question, I read it's the 100th season of the MJHL. Is there like something big going on with that, or is it just like
Not that I've seen, not much. I know it's a few teams, like 50th anniversary, and I think that's sort of a bigger thing, because I think when the MJHL first, I don't even think there's any teams from the original MJHL that are still kicking, because I think when the league started, it was just like right out of Winnipeg, and it was just a bunch of Winnipeg sort of like suburbs, I guess, like St. Boniface, Transcona. They're just sort of little areas in Winnipeg, and I don't even think any of those teams are kicking anymore. So I know we played in Dauphin, where I played for 2 years. It's their 50th anniversary. We played in their home opener this year, so that was pretty cool. I think we beat them like 9-2 or something like that.
Nice.
So, yeah, that was good. But I think, what else? That's all I can think of. I think it's them and Portage. It's both their 50th years in the league. So I think both those teams are doing little things to celebrate that. So.
The way you phrased it, I kind of want there to be like a straight out of Winnipeg shirt that says like MJHL 100 seasons straight out of Winnipeg. Yeah.
maybe I could sell those.
Yeah, there you go.
There's definitely some money to be made there.
Oh, okay. Real quick before we end the show, Al Montoya got traded to the Edmonton Oilers a couple of days ago.
Oh, I see. Where was I? I don't know. Watching it apparently.
And Laurent Brossoit got waived. Are there any thoughts on that at all from either of you guys?
No, I mean, Al Montoya is an interesting pickup. I mean, I think Brossoit showed all he was going to show in Edmonton. I think that a change of scenery for Brossoit at this point is probably a blessing for him. I don't dislike Brossoit, honestly. I think that I hope that he can, get a new scenery and do something. I think he's got potential. I just think that he was in Edmonton for too long. As far as Al Montoya goes, I mean, oh, man, tough times in Edmonton.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with you in there on that one. If that's what Chiarelli's up to, then I don't know. I think he's got bigger problems than that right now. But
yeah,
kind of a tough goal for Brossoit, but who knows? He's young, and maybe he can sort of maybe a change of scenery will be good for him. So
yeah, that's what I think.
And actually, since we did talk about the Oilers, you mentioned Blichfeld got stretchered off. Didn't Kailer Yamamoto get hurt also? That can't be good for the Oilers.
Well, I seen he took a slash or something.
Yeah, he took a pretty wicked slash, I think, in the Sweden game.
Mm-hmm.
You know what?
Yeah.
That's one thing I do want to say, actually. My hat's off to Team USA for killing in that bronze medal game, because North American teams are historically bad in bronze medal games. We don't show up. So for the US to show up as good as they did and to take that bronze medal to get the 3 medals in a row, I do give my hats off to them, because North American teams historically terrible in bronze medal games because it's just not our thing.
And with that, I think we should call it a night.
you can flame away at Ian Blogs Hockey as always, which is the biggest lying Twitter handle ever, because I don't think I've written anything in months. But I'm not changing it. So if you wanna throw heat my way, then that's where you can do it always.
It should be Ian Vlogs Hockey, because this is sort of a vlog in a way.
I don't want to change it though.
Yeah, I don't. But thank you all for watching this evening. Again, it's a Saturday night. Kirkland, thank you for joining us on a Saturday night, and you have a 4-hour travel tomorrow from what you were telling me earlier. So
yeah,
really appreciate you taking your, spending time with us. Give us a subscribe, folks, if you're new to the show. If you're watching for the first time, we try to just ramble about the big hockey stories, but also some of the stuff that you don't normally hear about. I personally want to just briefly mention Pierre-Cedric Labrie I believe he plays for the Milwaukee Admirals. There's an amazing article on the AHL.com about bearing through the nor'easter we just had in order to get to his pregnant wife, who was having a baby boy, and actually hit up, because he plays for Milwaukee, and they were in Grand Rapids, and the Griffins were on their way back from their own road game, and I guess through another player, Labrie got in touch with the Griffins goalie Tom McCollum to borrow his truck so he could bear through the snowstorm to get to his wife. So that was really cool. So check that out on the AHL's website. I'm at Kevin Lacey 22. I love tweeting about random stuff like that. So, but for Kirklan Lycar, again, at KirkL21. And for Ian Reed, I'm Kevin Lacey. Thank you for watching Teal Tinted Glasses, and have a great weekend, folks.